the rocket motor. It was a motor that began a race in the industry to constantly develop more and more powerful V8 motors. Nowhere else in the world, other than in communist Cuba, can a person experience such a complete exhibition of American car design from the 40s and 50s. These cars were not produced simply to provide basic transportation. The cars were marketed to appeal to people's feelings. And in the 1940s and 50s, the cars were a symbol of American culture, associating freedom and independence.
Soy muy tuyo y tú mi amor lo has comprendido al ver así rendido a tus caprichos mi orgullo al abismo no temo ir en desenfreno si no me apartas de tu seno, novia de todo mi egoísmo.
As far as car design goes, the 1950s were a very experimental period. Speed and styling were the magic words. America's change to a consumption-oriented society in the 1950s had a profound impact on the car market. By mass-producing cars, the manufacturer could lower the price and sell huge quantities. By making a little money on each car sold, the car companies still made a profit. As the car companies increased their production, more and more people could afford cars. The 1950s were a period of growth and good times, but also of tough competition within the automotive industry. In 1955, Chevrolet introduced the Bel Air with a V8 motor that produced 162 horsepower. The car was nothing less than a sensation. The characteristic side air intakes on the Buicks were inspired by a jet plane, and the Ford Thunderbird was sold as the car for individualists. Every year brought more powerful engines. 8-cylinder V motors dominated the market. By 1957, 83% of all American cars had a V8 motor. The car designs became futuristic. Designers were clearly inspired by the aviation industry. In 1948, Cadillac introduced a new detail on the back part of the car, the fin. The inspiration came from Lockheed's P-38 warplane. Some people claim that the fin served to stabilize the car at high speed. Only a few people believed the story, and even fewer cared. The important thing was that the fins appealed to the buyer's fantasy of being brought into the exciting space age. Double front lights were another item that became popular in the 50s. In 1957, the double front lights were legal in some states but were illegal in others. As a result, some 1957 models had either double or single lights, depending on where they were sold. By the end of the decade, all American cars had the double lights. In 1954, GM introduced the wraparound windshield on their luxury models. The windshield had a glamorous appearance and gave the driver better visibility. The windows quickly became popular and for the rest of the decade were standard on most cars. The car's interiors also saw some big changes. Glitter and chrome, combined with new materials like plastic, appeared in new car models. The cars also got many new conveniences such as radios, interior lights, cigarette lighters, bucket seats, air conditioning, and automatic transmissions. In the grill area of this Buick is a clearly defined female breast. Sex was a powerful weapon in the war for customers. Cadillacs even came to be known for their Dagmars, named after a well-known TV star who wore a bra that was typical at the time. Of course, success comes and goes. The 1950s were no exception. With all the growth in the car industry, there was also heavy competition. The result was that some very famous car companies disappeared forever,